Hello students, welcome to the EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Rashmi Sharma, Head of the Department OB and HR, Lal Bahadur Shastri Institute of Management, Delhi. Today we will learn the module Job Redesign. This module is from the paper Contemporary Issues in HRM and Future Trends. The learning outcomes of this module are: there would be an introduction to job design, the job characteristics model, job redesign, strategic framework of job design approach, job evaluation and its different methods, and some examples from the corporate. After completing this module, the students will be able to learn about the meaning and significance of job redesign, learn about the benefits of job redesign, study the models for job redesign. In an organization, motivation is used to enhance the productivity of the employees. Motivation is a goal-oriented drive or a stimulus that a person has to work towards a given goal. Organizations today use a variety of methods to motivate their employees, as it is difficult for the employees to perform efficiently and consistently without motivation. Motivation is amongst the most important behavioral variable in the organization. There are several theories to understand the mechanics of motivation. It is believed that you cannot satisfy all the needs of human beings. There are many theoretical models that cover a vast array of thoughts, but each model has its own shortcoming. One of the best ways to motivate employees is through a job design program or the goal setting program. Job design program is a performance motivation technique whereby the employees get the maximum satisfaction through which the company can get the best output from the employee, leading to mutual benefits and satisfaction. There are 5 characteristics of the job design program in motivating performance. They are: job engineering. It is a scientific management industrial engineering approach. Job enrichment. When the work is meaningful, the company has knowledge of operating the result. The employee is personally responsible for these results. Job characteristics. Building the skill variety, task identity and task significance, autonomy and feedback. Quality of work life. Activity which promotes the human dignity and growth. The employees work together collaboratively. Employees' participation determines the work challenges and changes. Employees assume compatibility of people and organizational goals. Social information processing. The job holder's cognitive evaluation, the job holder's part action, and present social information. It is required that a performance motivation should be measured to understand the level of satisfaction and productivity of employees. An attempt is made to know the awareness level of employees towards job design as a motivation technique and different variables within the job design program. Michael Armstrong has defined job design as the process of deciding on the contents of a job in terms of its duties and responsibilities, on the methods to be used in carrying out that job in terms of techniques, systems and procedures, and also on the relationships that should exist between the job holder and his superiors, subordinates and colleagues. Mathis and Jackson have defined job analysis as a process that integrates work content, that is tasks, functions, relationships, the rewards, that is extrinsic or intrinsic, and the qualification required, that is skills, knowledge and abilities for each job in a way that meets the need of an employee and the organization. A job design or an organizational structure helps in communications, productivity, efficiency and innovation. This creates an environment in which the workers can work more efficiently and effectively. A clearly defined role, responsibilities, reporting and authority provides a strong foundation for a well-functioning productive team. Job design will not necessarily help in improving the motivation at workplace of employees because it is affected by the individual's characteristics. Factors like competence of employee satisfaction with the work and their growth needs affect the motivational level of employees. Job design strategies help in improving the work motivation. Job rotation is a type of job design practice in which the employees switch the job from one firm to another or one department to another. It helps in minimizing the job boredom and helps in developing the most fitted workforce. Job rotation helps the employees to be multi-skilled. Job enlargement is about adding the number of tasks that are performed in a job for the employee. It helps in increasing the work efficiency as well as the flexibility. Job enrichment refers to when the employees are given more responsibilities for scheduling, harmonizing and planning the corresponding work. There are other alternative work schedule options which helps in making the work schedule with respect to the benefit of workers so that they can balance their time for work as well as for personal obligations. These can be compressed work weeks, which is decreasing the number of work days by keeping the number of hours constant. Shorter work week is decreasing in the working hours per week. For example, usually there are 40 hours of working in a week, which can be reduced to 35 hours in a week. Flexi timing gives an employee the freedom where they choose their coming and leaving the time from the organization. Telecommuting allows the employees to perform their jobs by computer devices which are connected to their offices. The job characteristics model. The performance of any organization largely depends upon the HRM practices in which the major component is job design practices. Firms like Xerox motivate their employees by designing challenging and enthusiastic jobs. In job designing, the tasks are assigned to a particular job by simultaneously considering the interdependency of the tasks with the other jobs. The practice of job design can motivate the employees and accelerate the performance by increasing the work efficiency through job specialization. Due to the changes in the business environment and increasing role of information technology, workforce flexibility and technological changes, the practices must be updated after a small interval of time. Let us now understand how the job characteristics model works. It is a framework which suggests how effectively job design practices can lead to improve the work motivation and satisfaction of employees, which in turn leads to the improvement in organizational performance. According to the job characteristics model, the employees shall remain motivated and satisfied when the job satisfies the given characteristics, that is skill, variety. The employee use various skills and talents for performing various tasks to fulfill the job requirement. Task identity. The job can be completed in a single task or divided in a piece of work to complete it. Task significance. It is the extent to which a job can impact the given organization or the society. Autonomy. Jobs having a large degree of autonomy than it offers huge freedom in fulfilling the task requirements. Job feedback. The employees give a feedback about how good they are on performing their jobs based on their experiences. Job redesign. It is a practice where job responsibilities and tasks are surveyed and possibly reallocated among the staff to improve the outcome. The redesigning jobs is very important as it can bring about improvements in both the productivity and the job satisfaction. A job redesign effort would walk through the following steps: what is being done, that is job description, and identify any difficulties in completing the work. Determine the skills of the employees, that is level of fit with their current positions. Reallocate tasks, that is employees who have a better fit between their skills, interest and position requirement. Provide training as and when required. To get employees ready for their new responsibilities, implement the program by providing a new job description to each employee and having them focus on the task in the revised position. Let us understand some job redesign approaches. Job rotation is one of the most common job redesign approach. Job rotation is an organized relocation of employees from one job to another, which tries to reduce the lack of variety and boredom in a given job. It doesn't change the actual job content or work, but it is rotation of employees from one job to another after a certain time. Job enlargement, as the name suggests, refers to an increase in the number of tasks a worker is supposed to perform while doing a job. The horizontal job loading addresses the increases in the number of tasks that an individual performs and thereby increasing the multiplicity of the job. Job enrichment refers to an increase in the purposefulness and the responsibilities to an employee of a job. It increases the depth of a job by adding details to it vertically. Managers have to add purpose, meaningfulness to the job and allow the employees to have more control over their work if the job is perceived as enriched. Work team is a group of workers who have been given a large task to accomplish. To make a work team, a group of workers is given a large task to complete, and the members of the teams are responsible for deciding on the task assignment to each worker, solving the production problem, creating their own timetable and deadline, and continuously benefiting the activities that are performed for a job. Autonomous work groups refers to the work groups that have been given a complex task to complete and have authority to decide the best way to complete the job. Now, these groups are responsible for achieving a composite goal, and it is given a considerable amount of authority over work assignment, breaks, prioritizing the activities and inspection procedure, etc. Quality circle is another aspect of job design. It is a routinized consultation between a group of workers and the supervisors or the managers to discuss the quality problems and their solutions. The concept of a quality circle is to focus on the maintenance and amplification of the quality of the product. Now let us understand the strategic framework of job design approach. The strategic job design can be represented diagrammatically. The representation in the slide shows the different elements of the job design approach. there are different options that are available to a certain group as it is mentioned here: job rotation, job enlargement, job enrichment, work teams, autonomous work groups and quality circles. Let's understand what exactly is job evaluation. Job evaluation is defined as a process by which systematically we determine the relative value of a series of given jobs within an organization. In all contexts, the result of a job evaluation plan is to rank the order of jobs within an organization that will provide the basis for creating a fair and equitable pay structure. The table, as is shown here, summarizes what we call a job evaluation. Therefore, job evaluation is a measure of job value and is not a measure of performance of employees. Job evaluation is about the job, but not about the person doing the job. It is restricted to valuing within an organization, but job evaluation is not about how other organizations may value the similar job. Job evaluation is used to set an equity within an organization, but is not concerned with the external environment. Job evaluation is participative and consultative by nature, but it does not have a backup committee, and it is treated as an art but is not a science. Let's take a live corporate example of how job redesigning is done at Aditya Birla Group. The article that was considered for this particular example argues that in a challenging liberalizing business environment like India, the nature of HR itself demands that organizations develop new capabilities, and the HR's role is to reevaluate its competencies and develop new ones to help in the overall strategic redesign of the organization. This particular article elaborates on two critical issues: the peculiarities and defining characteristics of HR models unique to India, and the main factors that shape people management policies and practices in the liberalized Indian environment. The source is given as mentioned in the bottom of the slide of this particular article. Let's have a look at the challenges. The group grew and consolidated its portfolio through a spate of acquisition and greenfield projects. About 25% of the revenue came from textile, a highly regulated and fragmented sector with margins as low as 8% to 10%. In cement, there were two separately listed companies where lack of synergies was adding to the cost. The group had no competencies in refining and had made a half-hearted foray into it. Mr. Birla could not grow the fertilizer business because it was highly regulated, obstructing the plans of expansion. The unplanned diversification that came from the opportunist responses and the license Raj made capital allocation highly complex. This was the strategy that was adopted by Mr. Birla. They achieved leadership and profitability in market in 5 years' time by adopting the rule of three, that is acquisition, brownfield and greenfield expansion. They decided to differentiate themselves in the marketplace and become the preferred provider, develop the assets and capabilities to achieve the above, and they thought that these could not be achieved. They will reassess the business plans and reroute the resources to more deserving businesses. Under Mr. Birla's leadership, the Aditya Birla Group became the world's leader in viscose staple fiber, and it also grew to become Asia's largest integrated aluminium producer and the fastest growing copper company in Asia. Presently, it is the 11th largest cement producer in the world and the 7th largest in Asia. These were the solutions that were taken by the Aditya Birla Group. Birla Group redesigned its portfolio. Mr. Birla brought the cement business under the Grasim umbrella, acquired Larsen and Toubro Cement and renamed it as Ultratech, and completed the chance by moving copper from Indo-Gulf to Hintalco. Mr. Birla acquired Indal to consolidate the non-ferrous metal business. Further refining the group, he undertook a three-way merger of Indian Rayon, Birla Global Finance and Indo-Gulf Fertilizers. The new entity, that is Aditya Birla Nuvo, has been called a conglomerate within a conglomerate. This landmark redesign is valued at more than $100 million, is one of the major consideration of its kind in India and a major step in creating the shareholders' value. From this case study, we have learned that the HR must design and redesign effective methods to anticipate the needs of the current business environment, though they might be difficult to implement, and understand and anticipate the needs because it might hurt the organization's score. In challenging, liberalizing business environment like India, the nature of HR itself would demand that organizations develop new capabilities and that the role of HR is to re-evaluate its competencies and develop the new ones to help in organizations' overall strategic redesign. The helpful way to redesign a job so as to increase the motivation of the employees are job rotation and job enrichment, as we have already discussed. Utilizing job rotation in the workplace would strengthen the employee's performance and organizational performance in many ways. It would help in reducing boredom within employees as they are constantly expanding their abilities. They will see other jobs and what requirements they have to succeed. It would help the employees to see how their work would contribute to the overall process of getting a product out. It increases the skills of the employees, and finally, since the employee has a bolder skill set, it helps the top level manager in rescheduling because they have more options to fulfill the gap when someone is ill or on vacation. Job enrichment is beneficial to keep the workers engaged in their work. Managers can help the workers in many ways. Actions of a manager can help to achieve the core job dimensions. For instance, in any firm, if a manager combines work for the worker, it can help the worker increase the amount of abilities they are utilizing and help them to prioritize the tasks that need to be completed first. By this action, the worker can be understood by their jobs and it helps the organization to complete its goal and help the workers to enjoy their work as they are using more of their skill set. Computing a motivational potential score. People working in jobs with high core dimensions are usually more productive, satisfied and motivated. We can see how MPS can be calculated. Skill variety plus task identity plus task significance divided by 3 multiplied by autonomy and feedback. This helps us to know the motivating potential score. To motivate the workers, there are some alternative work arrangements that have been proved successful, which have been already discussed. Let's take an example. Flexi time is a short form of flexible work hours which allows the employees to choose at what hours they work within a set time period. Like, if the employee needs to work 6 hours a day, the manager may say that you can choose 6 hours between 7 am and 9 pm. This may allow a mother to be home when our kids are about to come from school. So we can see an example that is given in this slide from 6 am to 6 pm. 6 am to 9 am are flexible hours. 9 am to 12 noon is the common core when we are required to achieve the objective. 12 noon to 1 pm can be lunch, and again 1 to 3 is common core, and 3 to 6 flexible hours. An example of job sharing is when two workers divide a job and each works part-time. Telecommuting is also an alternative work arrangement which is utilized. This is when the employees work from home at least 48 hours a week. There are two contexts to work. Firstly, the social context, and secondly, the physical context. The social context improves the job performance and creates a sense of interdependence, social support and communication with people outside the work. By physical context, there is job satisfaction, which is done by creating a safe and pleasant environment. Employee involvement is a participative process which uses employees' input to improve their commitment to the overall success of organization. Some examples are participative management and representative participation, which helps with employee involvement. Participative management is when employees are also involved by the managers in the decision-making process, whereas representative participation tries to distribute power by putting worker on a more equal footing with the interest of stockholders and managers. Money, as we all know, is not the primary factor for job satisfaction. However, it motivates an individual, and company often underestimates its impact in retaining the top talent. It is very complex to figure out what to pay and how to make a pay structure which makes sense for the industry. Then it is important to understand how it should be implemented so that in every organization some pay that is meaningful to the employees is given. Setting the pay slabs can be difficult and requires to balance between internal and external pay equity. The internal equity is responsible to look at the worth of the job to the industry and compares it with what others are doing in the industry. The external equity is responsible to look at external competitiveness of an industry's pay relative to pay elsewhere. There are many types of variable pay programs like profit sharing plans, gain sharing, piece rate pay, merit-based pay, bonuses, skill-based pay, and employee stock ownership plans. A method of motivation that is mostly successful is employee recognition programs. The idea is to recognize, which includes both extrinsic and intrinsic methods to motivate the employees. Recognition is intrinsic motivation technique which can range from giving an employee the proverbial pat on the back to a more public recognition program. Recognition ceremonies are highly effective and cost minimal. There are various arguments on such programs. Some say that it can be a political motive and are applied unfairly. They are more harmful than profit. Applications of these theories to other cultures are visible, although there is very less research to support these very common assumptions and understanding things. It is very important to recognize individual differences when we design and apply these motivational programs. The top level employees will get better results if they use feedback, goals, and allow employees to participate with them in the decision making process. Lastly, by linking rewards with performance and making sure that the process is equitable, better results will follow. Thank you.